Hey everybody, welcome back to PD and PDubs Unscripted. It is Friday, March 4th. I hope you're having an awesome Friday. PD, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. It's Friday, so that's always a good day.
Yeah, it seems like people are really happy when Fridays come around. It's the end of the week. It's a sense of accomplishment.
Right.
And, like the weekend, we have nothing else to do, right?
Well, this weekend there's state basketball for Immanuel Lutheran Church and School.
Hey, there you go. If you're in and around the Palatine area, you want to see great middle school basketball, come to the basketball tournament, the state basketball LSA tournament, right?
Yeah, so that's this weekend. So if you're actually listening to it on March 4th, check it out this weekend.
Yeah, and you can just Google LSA basketball, and you'll see the brackets, and you could even do a little bracketology.
You get a little work for March Madness.
Yeah, just like a prep for that. We've never really done that, have we?
No.
We just kind of just watch where our Bobcats go.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so both our boys and girls are involved in the state tournament, and so it's be a whole lot of fun. We have teams all around Illinois, from big towns to small little rural communities.
Yeah.
So
I know I saw Nashville, Oakville's in there, and I know that's a pretty small area.
Yes, yeah. Illinois has a Nashville.
Yes, it does.
Nowhere near the size of Tennessee's Nashville, right?
Nope.
Yeah, but anyway, we're not here to talk about basketball or bracketology or March Madness or anything like that. We're delighted to invite our guest, welcome our guest, Jenny Laabs, who is our Director of Music and Worship at Immanuel in Palatine. Jenny, welcome to PD and PDubs.
Yeah, thanks. It's nice to be here. Yeah, this is quite the experience.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, right. I mean, our studio is just so professionally done, and it's
kind of in a little corner here.
We're in a little corner, but we're sounding good thanks to Dave and Andy, and we're grateful for that and everything that they've done. But with today being Community Connections, we've invited Jenny into our podcast today. Number one, just to get to know Jenny a little bit. So for those of you who might be around Immanuel and really don't know a whole lot about Jenny, it's an opportunity for you to hear about her personally and ministry-wise and things with her family. And then also for those who aren't a part of our Immanuel family, you get a taste of all the contributions that Jenny not only contributes to Immanuel, but into our community. So again, we welcome you, Jenny.
Thank
you. So I guess, Pastor, let's start with maybe some personal questions. If you share about your family, Jenny, and how long you've been connected to Immanuel and those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm married to Tim, and we have 3 lovely boys, and but 2 are married, and 1 is single still. But and we're really enjoying our son's dog Ari at home, German Shepherd, Akita mix.
Nice.
And he's nicely trained. He's super fun, and we have a good time together. And so I miss our son and his wife. They live in Florida.
Okay.
And our youngest son lives here in Palatine with his wife, and yeah.
Awesome. Ari is a beautiful dog and very well trained and good mannered. And well, we hear some stories sometimes when you're out in the morning time walking on the trails. Is Ari, well trained then?
No.
Or when they're
not always. It depends on how many dogs are out at the same time.
Okay.
So.
That was what I was going to say. Or if there's other dogs out and about or walking down the street.
Yeah, that's when it gets difficult. Other than that, okay.
But she hasn't dragged you on the ground or anything like that?
No, he hasn't. No.
Well.
No. He won't do that.
Oh, that's good.
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But anyhow, so yeah, we live here in Palatine and nice and close to the church. And so I'm the director of music here at Immanuel now. This is my 4th year, I think. 4th or 5th
in that
year
role.
in this role.
Yeah.
So I started out in 1998 part-time, and I was the assistant to the director of music.
Okay.
And so I didn't work full-time, I don't think, until 2001, something like that. But So I've always been involved with music my whole life. My parents involved in music. My dad's a pianist. My mother's a singer, and so yeah. So music is a big part of me, and I love to share it. So I also work at a store called the Music Room in Palatine, and there's a lot of teachers, and they have a lot of studios, and it's a one-on-one type of approach that I do. I have brass students and woodwind students and piano, and I've been actually there longer than Immanuel, but it's just an evening part-time kind of a thing. So
You know, that building that the music room's in, back in the day when I was but a youth at Immanuel.
Aren't you still but a youth?
In my mind, Pastor. Yes. I was learning how to play the trombone, and I would take lessons at a place called Olson's. And it was part of that building.
yeah.
Like there's a stairway up the side, and there are rooms in the second, probably the ground floor and the second floor. And I remember going there like I'm in this empty room with a chair and a music stand and a metronome.
Oh, the good old metronome.
And my teacher would teach me one-on-one lessons, kind of like what you do with children mostly. Are you teaching children or adults as well?
I have taught adults before.
Okay.
But they're mostly children.
Yeah, so I remember those days up at Olson's. So Olson's is no longer there, right?
No longer there. Yeah.
But the music room has been a part of Palatine for a number of years, hasn't it?
I want to say 27 or 28 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. So I teach a lot of students there. And as far as Immanuel, here, in addition to being the director of music, I also help out the school with whatever they need me to do.
Right, because you're not just music, because you also have your electives, which are more
Well,
art-focused.
yeah, my very first job out of college was part-time music and part-time art. And so that was, it made for long days, I must say. But they found out that I like to draw and sketch and paint and all kinds of things.
And clay.
Yeah, pottery's awesome, super fun. And the kids love it too, so we're having a good time.
Well, and you've shown those gifts and abilities at Immanuel over the years, particularly, like during Lent, where we've had, themes like Lent for the arts. And, a few years ago, Jenny was painting pictures of various eyes of apostles or characters in the Passion narrative, and that was really cool.
Right. And that was the Through the Eyes series, I think it was called and that was Lent, and that one got kind of cut short because I think that was the COVID year,
That was during COVID,
right when it happened during the lockout. And then was it the year before that? It had to have been when you were doing all the sets, and then I nearly knocked down the set by taking the stuff off the one tree because I was trying to do something as an illustration of my sermon message, and
I remember that.
and nearly brought down the tree. It didn't go as planned.
I think we were all in the pews going like, putting our arms out trying to steady you and like, oh no, please stay up, don't fall down.
Doing the Carlton fist, waving it to the home run ball.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's also done various other kinds of, creative themes over the years and brought in artists who, didn't we have one time a sculptor do the bust of Jesus?
Yeah.
I remember that. That was so powerful. I remember when that guy did that. So
We've had a chalk artist, we've had dancers, we've had all kinds of people over the years. Yeah. So it draws people in. Whatever draws people in is what we try to work on.
And I would say one of the bigger things in the last couple of years to draw people has been the Christmas concert. Do you want to share about how that goes and all the community involvement with the Christmas concert?
Oh yeah, we have a set adult choir and we have musicians in the church. But I tried to do something much bigger and invite other people to sing along with us. And then our choir of 12 people grows to like 25 or 30 people. And so our choir expands, and we have a lot of musicians in the live orchestra. I make it a big point to have live music because it really fills people up. And we have brass and woodwind people, but we don't always have a lot of string players, so I hire in string players. And it's very important, even though it's such a big project to do, it's very important for people to be a part of something really big and outside of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing the community that which you seem to draw from, and just the high level of talent really lifts up what is being produced for the viewers to receive that powerful message. I mean, it's so apparent, and yet knowing you probably have people in mind that while they're giving, they're also receiving faith-wise as well, right?
Right. Yeah. And this year, I invited my student from the music room actually to be a part of the orchestra this year, and he took the challenge on, and I was so proud of him because I have been teaching him since he was like in 4th grade, and he's graduated from college now. And I told his mom, I said, all those lessons that you paid for now has paid off for him because he did such a great job. And he's not a believer either. And so I hope that, I know he heard the message and in a different kind of a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a way that he can appreciate musically because he's wired in his mind that way.
Yeah.
So God can use that to open up his heart, perhaps. That's awesome.
He's always willing to listen to what I have to say. Yeah.
That's
and if
great.
there's ever a point where God opens a door, I try to step in. Yeah.
That's a great community connection. That's exactly what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
No, one of our previous podcasts, we went into the one concept, which is exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about your student, that one concept, and you're just living out your life, doing what you normally would do with this student of yours.
Right.
And here's just kind of planting the seed, walking alongside.
I already asked him to play for Easter, and he said, yeah, sure. He'd love to.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he'll be back for Easter and playing along, and I'm really excited about that. I invited other teachers from that store to also play with us, and so it's great because when I was a band director here at Immanuel for I think 7 years, I was the band director for the school, and we have such a great relationship with them, and I could just take an instrument over there and they'd fix it right away for me, and I could come back to. And at that time, they had a band program where they sent teachers out and to different schools. Well, they decided, I don't know what the reason exactly was, but they stopped that program. They gave us all their band music, all their collections,
Wow,
all
what
their
a gift.
each band piece now costs anywhere from $70 to $80 for one song. And we have drawers and drawers. So everything is completely organized, all the collections, all the jazz music. We are so blessed by that. And so I just got a new student last week who goes to a private school, not a parochial school, a private school.
Okay.
Where it's very expensive. And she was telling me that they hardly have any music. I said, you tell your band director, we have so much, we can share our music with your school. So another connection, I hope, and I'll get to see her tomorrow. Yeah, but so anyhow, I'm trying to reach out in those different ways.
And I love
with
how
what we have.
Yeah. And that's the fruit of the partnerships that you are able to, manifest. And so then you use those gifts to mentor younger people into not only learning the instrument and learning their craft, but mentoring them to a grander stage. That's a whole nother experience in and of itself.
Right.
And so I think that's wonderful, that approach that you give. It's total ministry approach in view of God's kingdom, always before you. And another example is one of our confirmation students at the Christmas program played the flute, right?
That's right.
For the first time
First time.
in a big concert like that. And she really flourished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She did a great job and learned a lot in the process because the music was not easy by any means.
Yeah.
And so she really rose up to the occasion and practiced and did her very best, and she sounded great. So, yeah, I can't wait to have her play again soon. Yeah.
So you were saying when you grew up, it's your mom and your dad. Your dad played piano, and your mom was a singer.
Yeah.
So they obviously had a big influence for you musically. Can you kind of take us back to like when you really embraced music or playing an instrument, and what were those instruments, and what are the instruments you really enjoy playing now?
Well, I I do play a lot of instruments. That's because that's my degree is in music education. But I started out just playing the piano as soon as I could get my fingers on the keys. And so my dad taught me piano. I'm the youngest of three, and my sister and my brother also play piano. So they were already playing before I was. And but it was very important to my parents that we start on piano first. And then if we choose another instrument by the time we got to fourth grade, then it would be easier for us to learn because we already know everything about music and counting and rhythm and those things to help us to learn the instrument. So, and I apply that to my students too. Start with piano and then try something different.
Okay.
But I learned French horn in fourth grade, so I practiced that a lot. And then my brother, he played piano and cello, my sister piano and oboe, and then me. And so it was so much music going on all the time. And us three kids, we would say, okay, you take the basement, I'll take the living room, and then you go in your bedroom upstairs. And we would all try to practice at the same time because we all needed quiet time.
Yeah,
we all needed a quiet space in the house. Because sometimes my mom would practice for whatever solo she was singing in some other big thing, and some requiem or something. And yeah, my dad was always teaching piano, and oh my gosh. So we had a piano in the basement, a piano in the living room, and
You're really blessing your neighbors with music, right?
All those
There
lovely
goes the
neighbors
Bussey
and
family.
all those neighbors in River Forest there.
well, the neighbors had two boys and they played violin and they practiced even more. So in the summer, when the windows were open, we're like, oh, I hear the violin again.
There's competing there between the neighbors.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
That's pretty cool.
was
Thanks for
fun.
that picture. It kind of does take you back. And, you know, you could just probably hear all the music floating around the neighborhood, you know?
Oh, yeah. We were all over the neighborhood. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was also thinking of another community connection you have, and that's with the dentist or orthodontist next door that that has the scholarship for our students. That's, you know, I know you kind of connect with to help facilitate that.
Right. Yeah. He is just the best guy ever. He grew up playing the saxophone, and he knows how important music is and what it did for his life. And yeah, he awards a lot of schools in the area a scholarship to kids that want to stay in music because he knows how important it is. Yeah, it's a really, really great partnership with him. So, yeah, I haven't heard from him for a little while, but I should go walk over and visit. But yeah, it's good to be out in the community like that. I could have probably stayed inside Immanuel and not teach a lot of lessons and just, you know, do what I do here and then go home. But somehow people keep finding me. I never have ever advertised that I teach
That's
music.
amazing.
I've never advertised any of that, and people find me. There's kids from another school that want to come over from Whiteley School. I don't
not
even
heard
know
of that
where
one.
it is, but this lady is trying to get her kid over here for lessons, and I'm like, my schedule just couldn't work. But
Right.
I don't know where they come from, but they come.
Well, your reputation precedes you.
Yeah, I know. It's just imagine if you did like market yourself. Wow, you'd be beating them back a little bit.
Well, there was a point in time where I thought we should set up studios down here in Immanuel in the basement and just open it up like another music store. And I thought, oh no, I don't want to be in competition with, the
Music
the
room.
music room store because they do such a good job. But
Yeah, very cool.
yeah,
So, in terms of your favorite instruments, so you said you started out with piano and then you have French horn. Like, not just playing, but I'm interested in like what musical instrument or musical group really speaks to you personally. Like when you hear that instrument play, you just like, oh yeah, that's beautiful.
so many do, and a part of my growing up life, we always listened to classical music all the time, and I always find something really beautiful, like Brahms clarinet quintet or quartet. I can't exactly remember, or listening to many different symphonies, Beethoven, or listening to Bach. I just love the classics. But if you ask me, I know a lot of people ask me what my favorite instrument is, and I don't have a
You
favorite.
don't have one. Okay.
But-
that's fair.
But when I listen to the cello, something happens. Something happens, and my brain just goes, "What is that?
Yeah,
What is that?"
that doesn't surprise me based upon things you have said, like the way the sound and the tone of the cello speaks inwardly to us as human beings. Like that tone is really emotive, if I'm using the right word. Like it draws out like an emotion or from the listener. I don't know. I'm out of my league.
It's kind of like you're talking out of your league. But yeah, we were talking about you're talking about songs that speak to you, and like I still think back to last year when we were talking about the Passion reading for Palm Sunday, and as soon as we were kind of talking about it, you're like, I think what it is I made the video, I showed it, and we're like, it's missing something because it was just us speaking a bunch of different people. Then all of a sudden you're like, I got the perfect song, Adagio for strings.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so it speaks to that musical connection where you're like, I know it perfectly, and it just synced so perfectly with that video.
Yeah.
And it was perfect timing too.
Right.
It was, hauntingly beautiful. So, I mean, music really speaks to people in a way that words cannot.
So, Pastor, you played trumpet when you were
Supposedly.
younger.
I attempted to play the
And
trumpet.
I played trombone. Now, did you ever struggle practicing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you ever have to fill out like a little sheet that said, I practiced on Monday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., and then I practiced on Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7:30?
I don't think I did.
And did your parents ever have to sign that form?
That doesn't sound familiar, but I'm sure my parents and the neighbors preferred when I didn't practice.
I had to fill out a form. Can
Did
you believe
you?
that? And I
Wow.
had to have my parents sign it. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Oh, I hated that form because it showed me how I wasn't practicing, and I couldn't put any numbers down that weren't truthful because my parents would be like, you didn't practice that, and but I struggled with
it's hard.
trying to, as a kid, I wanted to be outside with my friends, especially when the weather was nice. And, I liked playing trombone and I liked going to lessons and all that and learning some new things. But there was a point where I just was like, oh, I don't want to practice. I got other things I want to do. And so, do you find that that's like a struggle for a lot of young budding musicians?
It really is. It really is. And so I do my best to say, okay, we're going to have a practice session, and then I teach them how to practice. So that's my approach with that. And then I show them how to practice.
Okay.
But I think I'm right with you. The lack of motivation. I mean, I remember one summer having music lessons from my band teacher, and I was getting a little bit better. I was hitting higher notes, and then braces happened.
Ooh.
And I couldn't play as high on the trumpet with my braces. So then after that, I was like, this is a lost cause.
Yeah. Well, and you, as a trumpeter, have a smaller mouthpiece than us trombone folks.
Right.
And did your teacher ever tell you just to kind of pull your mouthpiece out and do all sorts of like exercises? Okay,
Yep.
I didn't know if that was just a trombone thing.
Nope, yeah, because it almost
That's
sounded like a little
interesting.
like duck call almost.
Yeah. And I remember after, doing those exercises or just playing and practicing, my lips were like I just got done with Botox. They were just so big. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Immanuel wants us playing instruments anytime soon.
Oh, did your parents ever, like, when they had friends over, did they say, "Oh, George and Harriet, Donald's going to play a song for you"?
No, they knew better than that. They were like, no, just stay away. Keep the trumpet locked up.
Oh, my goodness.
We had to play piano when my parents invited guests over
I'll
for
bet.
dinner. Oh,
Bet, because you're a huge musical family.
gosh. Yeah.
So would your parents just like, and now Jenny plays, and now Jenny's brother plays?
Or
and now,
was it a trio? Or was it a trio?
Oh, a trio.
No, they didn't tell us what order or anything,
Okay.
thank goodness. But no, we would get up from the table, go into the living room, and play something. It was a little easier when they were in the other room.
Do you remember a particular song that you would have to play more times than not? Okay.
Oh, just in general?
In front of the
in front of-
friends.
No, if we made a mistake, we just kept going, and
Okay.
hopefully they wouldn't notice.
Okay.
We always hoped for that.
How about you, Pastor? Do you remember a tune that you always played on the trumpet?
I mean, I remember more songs I enjoyed.
Okay.
Like
what
the
are those?
1812 Overture. That was always a fun one,
Ooh.
minus the cannons.
Okay.
And then
yeah.
Jurassic Park theme. How can you not love the Jurassic
Oh,
Park
yeah.
theme?
Oh, for sure. I wanted to buy that for the band kids. They love that.
Because that's what, John Williams?
Yes, I believe so.
Wow, very good.
I think it's John Williams.
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Pastor going to the vault. This is good. Well, at least you
I
had.
should know, and I don't.
Well, we're getting you on the spot. You can't know every
Composer
song and
and
composer.
According to the internet, it is John Williams who did that, along with Jaws and
Ding,
Star
ding, ding,
Wars and
ding.
all kinds of things. Oh, yeah. He's such a great writer.
Well, at least you got to play contemporary songs of the day. So, like mine, the reason I'm asking because I wanted to kind of see what you had. Mine was I had to play "Oh When the Saints Come Marching In," and like that was like not a song that I enjoyed, but it was a
good.
fun
It's
song.
upbeat.
You really had to stretch out the arm to get to that seventh position. Burr, 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 burr. And and then there was the one. I guess it was contemporary. It was a song called "Windy."
Oh,
You remember
yes,
Wendy?
Yes.
probably if you'd hum it, maybe I might know it.
Who's looking down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody she sees? Everyone knows it's windy. And then the trombone part. Bop, 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 bop. So
Yeah, so that's
that was one I kind of enjoyed.
I think we have that
Do
here in
you
the
really?
library.
Oh,
I think Pastor needs to bust out the trombone and try.
no. It's been too long. Too
Yeah.
long.
And the Tijuana Brass or something.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have that too. Yeah.
How's that? That always was on the radio in our house, the Tijuana Brass.
I don't know this. Like, I start thinking of you're talking about like Wendy and like contemporary. I think of like I wasn't really, well, I got out of marching band my freshman year in high school because I fractured the growth plate in my right ankle, so I couldn't
Okay.
march.
Yeah.
Not complaining. But I did really always like our music we played in pep band because we'd play like Land of a Thousand, I think it was.
Okay.
Or Gotta Keep Them Separated, or Come Out, or the official name Come Out and Play by Offspring, which was a punk band kind of back in the 90s. And I think we even did like Iron Man. So those were always the more like fun pep band songs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Well, we've really, taken down the quality of this musical discussion to a level
Jenny's like,
that's not suitable for someone like Jenny.
No, I loved pep band in high school and marching band and all of that. It's super fun. Super fun to play with your friends. Love it.
So when you were marching in the pep band, how do you keep your music? You had like a little clip?
little lyre. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Lyre? That it like there's the little like circuit. There's a little bar with a little circle at the end. I would take that on my trumpet, and then you'd put the lyre in there, screw the little screw so it's tight, and then you just flip the pages because you have the little, I don't know what that thing was called.
That must have been hard on a windy day, flapping.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like I said, I got out of freshman year like football games for marching because I was hurt.
Okay.
And, well, there's parades I tried to get out of because wasn't a big fan of some of the parades. But homecoming parade for where I went to high school, or my high school would always line up right in the cul-de-sac that I grew up in.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, like, it would be like, yeah, I'll just meet you guys out in the cul-de-sac. And I
that
think,
was convenient.
and I think after a while, like, more because of my brother, because he played percussion and he was older, that he would kind of come out and, give, like, drinks to the percussionist. And, like, I don't think the band teacher liked it because then after a while, they progressively showed up just closer and closer to the start of the parade and not as much hanging out in the cul-de-sac.
That's funny. That's great. Yeah, I never was part of a marching band. I did a parade once. I think it was the 4th of July parade in Palatine or something. And I learned band at Immanuel Palatine, so I think our Immanuel band was in the parade. And I do remember it being very windy, and I was having trouble playing because I couldn't see all the notes and everything like that. So, but that was my only time of a parade. But Jenny, I was wondering if you could offer any kind of encouragement to anyone, young and old, who's considering playing an instrument and or who is playing and is struggling. You have any words of encouragement for them?
Sure. Never give up and keep at it. I think that if you get stuck, ask your teacher for your help, and keep trying over and over, because there may be a simple tweak or a simple something that is hanging you up that you can work out with your teacher. Find a teacher, find a music teacher. Go to a church that has a school, and find the music person, and they'll be happy to help you. And I'd be happy to help you. So come on down to Immanuel Palatine in Illinois, and I'll come help you out. But anyhow, keep at it. Don't ever give up. And a little prayer goes a long way too.
I think that was our problem. We gave up.
Yeah, we gave up. I know. It was a sad day in the Schilf household.
I don't think it was a sad day in the Antor household.
It's okay to it's all right if it's not working for you. Find something else that is your passion that you love to do. Maybe if you're playing an instrument and it's just not working, find a different instrument. There's nothing wrong with that, really.
So I think that's a good ending point right there. And
yeah, for sure. And if you're a parent who's listening and would like to find someone to have your child learn from, Jenny gave her information. Thanks for doing that. I was going to ask you that, but you jumped and did it. And just know that with Jenny, you're going to have someone who's very patient, kind, loving, encouraging, and she's a teacher that will really help students grow. So look her up.
yeah, so
Thanks.
yeah, Jenny, thanks for joining with us. And now you're a recurring guest here on PD and PDubs Unscripted.
Awesome.
For sure.
That's great. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to have you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. And God's blessings.